Hi there everyone, it's Gloria Kremer from Oakville, Canada. If this is the first time you're joining me, these are cards that are part of my online kit class. So I just wanted to show you, this is what's called a stage pop-up card, and hopefully it shows in the video. So you open it up and it pops up. So closed, open. So when you set it down on a table, it just stays open like that. So then I'll just show you another one I made. So the kit is for this version, and then I did a stepped up version. This is for my husband for Valentines. So ta-da! And then this is what the inside of it looks like. So once you know the basics of how to create the stage part, it's actually quite easy, and then you can just do whatever you want, use whatever DSP you want and whatever stamps you want. So let's get started. This was not my design. The design for this card, like the stage part, I got off M Studio, except it was in Korean, so it was a little difficult to understand. I basically just had to write down all the measurements. So let me just warn you before we get started. I have two kids that are doing online learning. I have a husband that is working from home, and I also have two dogs that pretty much bark at everything. So if there's a delivery that shows up, they will be barking, and they will let you know, and you can just press mute. Okay, so let's get started. The stamps that I use are from these two stamp sets, meant to be in heart to heart. I think that says heart to heart, but there's a sticker covering it. Yeah, so let's get started. So when you get your kit, everything is pre-cut for you. The only thing I'm not allowed to do as per Stampin' Up! Policy is to stamp any of the images. So the images are up to you. Everything is otherwise cut and pre-scored for you. Let's get all these hearts out. I don't know that we're going to use all the hearts, but okay. So, and then I'll move this sort of off to the side. So what we need for our base is just a regular size card base. So this is 11 by 4 1/4. And then you need another one. So we'll put this aside for now. Then you need another one that is 12 by 4 1/4. So you need to have like a you need to cut like from a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So I use the Whisper White. Sorry, this is just gonna get all this out of the way. Okay, and then you're gonna score it right in the middle, so that's scored at 6. And then you're also gonna score 1 1/2 from the middle, and then 1 1/2 on the other side in the middle. So then I don't know if this one is, I didn't pre-score this one, so I will see if I can find my pencil. I couldn't find it earlier, so I am just going to use a pen. I think when I did my samples, I did it using a pencil. Okay, so this is how we do it. We are going to measure an inch. Sorry, so an inch from each side. So this is one of the score lines, and then you're going to measure an inch right there as well. And normally I would do this with a pencil, except I can't find my pencils because my kids are always taking them for their school stuff, and then of course they don't return it. And then we're going to measure 1 inch from that score line to each side. So hopefully that sort of makes sense, and hopefully you can see. So I've done 1 inch from that score line, and then 1 inch to each side there, and then we're just going to do the same on the other side. So 1 inch and 1 inch. Okay, next we're going to do, this is our middle line, and we're going to go in 1/2 inch. So 1/2 inch right there. And this is that line that goes right down the middle. And then 1/2 inch on the other side. So I really hope that makes sense to you. So then our next step is we're going to take scissors, and you know where we went and folded the first one, we're going to do a tiny little cut on each side where we had marked it with the 1/2 inch. Tiny, tiny cut. Now we're going to take these scissors and we're just going to literally shave off the tiniest bit right along where that fold is. So that it looks like this. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, now our next step is we're going to need a ruler, and then we also need a scoring tool. And of course I couldn't find my scoring tool that comes with my pick. So I have these. So we're going to go from the dot, the 1 inch dot, to the other 1 inch dot. And again, if you purchased my kit, I would have already did this for you. You don't have to do it yourself. And then we're going to do it to the other side as well. Oops. That's the convenience of having the kit. Everything is done for you. You just sort of assemble it and stamp your own sentiments. So there it is. Hopefully you can see it on the video, what it looks like. So I'm going to open this up so that you can see it as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold this one in, and this one sort of goes in as well. And then we just basically give it a little pinch. Sorry, let me just pinch, pinch. So there we go. So that's your base. So then the next step is, this piece here is 5 by 3 1/4, and it's scored at 1/2 inch. And then the DSP is a 4 1/4 by 3 1/8. So my DSP might look a little different than the kit's, and that's perfectly fine. I just wanted to show you what it could look like. And of course, I wasn't supposed to use my big tape runner. I was going to use my Stampin' Up one. So we're just going to mount this. Oops. just gonna mount that. And then we're gonna fold this piece towards the DSP like that. And then we're gonna use a piece of tear tape. Put down a piece of tear tape. And we are gonna assemble our card base. So this is how it's gonna work. You're gonna stick the piece through the middle, and then this piece is gonna stick right in there like that. And you're gonna like center it. So let's see whether, I've never actually done this on video, so hopefully it works out. I've made 3 of these cards already, so I'd like to think that I know what I'm doing. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna center it. Like that. I always eyeball it. I think if you really want to be exact, it's ½ inch from each side, so you can measure it out as well. So then that's going to go right through there. We're going to put adhesive on the back of this. And we are gonna line it up to the edge here. And just press down like that. And then we're gonna do the same for this piece. And how I like to do it is, I like to just fold it in. And then I like to just sort of close it like that. And that way you know the card is gonna close. So there's our piece. It's coming along. So next we're gonna add the DSP. So you can choose, I guess this is the DSP that goes to the front. So this is the one that would go right over here. No. How did I mess this up? Sorry. Okay, so I guess this piece goes on my cover. And then this other piece looks like I went and cut the wrong size. But what you're going to do is in your kit, you're going to have a piece that will fit right there. So you're going to put that piece right there. I cut mine too small. So this DSP piece is supposed to be 4 by 4 1/4. So if you're cutting it and making this at home, this piece here is supposed to be 4 by 4 1/4. All right, we can speak. Okay, next we're going to take the piece here and we're just going to glue that down here. Again, you can use any DSP you have, which is why I'm doing this with different DSP, because I wanted to show you that you don't have to have the DSP that I use for my sample. It will still turn out awesome, even if you use different DSP. Next, we're going to stamp the sentiment, and this sentiment is from the stamp set Heart to Heart. It says, "You make me happy," and I'm going to do this in the black. And I went and punched this heart. This heart was a leftover from last year's DSP, so I sort of cheated for this card. But the punch is still available, so you can still punch out hearts that look like this. Okay, now while we have the ink out, we might as well stamp our other stuff. This is also from Heart to Heart. And this is Happy Valentine's Day. Sometimes when I'm doing these videos, I can't get my head as close to the table as I'd like, because I worry that my head's going to end up in the video. And there must be one more thing that we had to, oh yes, meant to be. So that's going to be at the, on the front there. There are a lot of pieces to this card. It was not an easy one to prep, but I wanted to have lots of layers and I want it to be really special. So that's why I did it this way. Okay. So our next step is we're going to glue down our heart. This is from the dies that go with Meant to Be. So I'm going to glue this down right over here. And then I'm going to glue my big heart also down. Now when you put these pieces on, make sure you glue it down and not use dimensionals, because the dimensionals will affect the way it pops up. It's going to get caught. I know, because I tried. I thought it would look cute all popped up, and then I realized when I closed the card it was getting caught to other stuff. So try to avoid any pop-ups. And when you glue your pieces down, make sure they're glued down really well. And then we have this foil heart that we're just going to put on the bottom there. And then we have this heart as well. And if you have the stamp set, you can stamp it. It's from Meant to Be. And I'm going to use, I think that's Flirty Flamingo. So I'm going to stamp it with the Flirty Flamingo. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay it on top and then press. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but most of the time it does. Ta-da! So that worked out well. And then we're just going to add some glue. And we will glue that down right here. And then we have our foil hearts, which we're going to glue down over here on the bottom. I just realized that my mat is a little higher than what it normally is, so hopefully I haven't been off the camera while doing this card. I'm just going to lay that down, and then you can just add some of the hearts to the bottom here. I'm not going to do it just for the sake of time. We're going to go straight to doing the outside of the card. And again, you can add the little foil hearts on the inside as well once you're done. So over here, you can sort of decide which one you want to go with. If you want to go with the pink, I think I'm going to go with the pink. I don't know. Let's just give it a try. So I'm just going to use my big tape runner just because it's a lot quicker. I know a lot of girls have these, so most of the girls that come to when I had my at-home classes, they all have the big advanced tape glider because it lasts forever. And of course, I forgot to trim off some of the side here, so I'm just going to do it. I don't normally do that. Normally, I would have measured it out, but, and of course, it's not quite straight. Let me just trim it on my trimmer so I get a nice straight line. Otherwise, it's going to drive me nuts. Okay, so there, it's nice. It's trimmed nice and straight. Now it's not going to drive me nuts. So we're just going to put some glue on this doily. Again, I think this doily is retired, so you can use any doily, or you don't even have to use a doily. Just use what you have. Okay. Next we have this tag that I use the tag topper punch on. We'll stick our tag on there. Add some hearts. Oops, I didn't mean to do it right on top of each other, but oh well. And then we're gonna take our ribbon. Whoops. And of course, I realize I am out of the ribbon that I had used previously. So I don't know, we will use this ribbon here. I think it will work. So the ribbon that I used in my sample is actually, I colored it with my blends. And I believe I used a Fleur de Flamingo on it. So we're just going to put a ribbon through here. We can trim that afterwards. And we're going to take the twine, and I made sure to give everyone like an extra long piece of twine because I know sometimes tying a bow can be difficult if your twine isn't long enough. So we're going to tie that up, and then we're going to trim it. I think that's pretty good. We're going to trim this, and then we're going to trim that as well. And then we're just going to pop it up on a couple of dimensionals. And when we're pretty much done. So we'll add some dimensionals on the back. Flip this around, add this to our card, and there we go. So you can see what the card looks like, regardless of what DSP you use. It can look awesome. So, oops, looks like it's got caught right there. So. So there's the inside of our card. I still need to add a couple more hearts to it, but and I need to add a background there as well. So thanks again for joining me. Let me know if you have any questions, and hopefully you have fun putting together your card. And again, as I said, make sure you glue down your pieces really well, because otherwise the inside pieces, when you close the card, can get sort of stuck in there. So thanks again for joining me, and have an awesome weekend.